today's bad. Today's really bad. So you gotta.
Oh, hey boys, we ready to go here? Welcome to the rundown. I don't even know what day it is. It's after. I'll just call this the day after Michigan won the national championship, took control of the college football world and the world, and really reestablished themselves as the only school that matters in college football. The most wins, the national champions, the fights on all of it, the pomp and pageant. So I don't know what the date is. Brought to you by High Noon. High Noon El Prez Pack. That's my face on it. That's a championship face. That's a championship face when you see it. You're drinking the drink of gods, of champions. Featuring my top 4 flavors: passion fruit, pineapple, pear, and tangerine. Tangerine's awesome. 12 packs only here for a limited time. Get it while you can. Look for my face. Scan the QR code, and I can join your party. HighNoonSpirits.com to find the El Prez pack near you. Again, it's the best pack going. The topics I just landed from Houston, where I watched the national championship. The last one in that kind, by the way, now it's going to be a playoff, where Michigan.
It already was a playoff, dipshit.
What do you mean?
There was a 14
Yeah,
playoff.
but the 12, right? Instead of 4, instead of like 12. Like Michigan will be in every year now. Probably Ohio State will be in every year. Mississippi State will still never be in it. But the format has changed.
You don't know that. You don't know that.
So anyways, I haven't been on the rundown, I don't think, this year. So I just want to do kind of, I don't have the topics. I'm just going to go through big things that have happened in 2024, which I think could be shaping up to be. Oh, you know how he did that? That's because what are they, a mnemonic device? It's shaping up to be. That's because all through the stadium, it's great to be a Michigan Wolverine. The whole place, you couldn't go anywhere. The whole crowd chanting it in unison. It was something to behold. And for both of you guys, I hope you get to that one moment where your entire fan base is walking out. It's great to be a Michigan Wolverine. It was deafening. Anyways, I'm going to back up because I haven't had a chance to talk to you guys. I won $1 million on the Rose Bowl. That's my first topic. It's the biggest bet I've ever placed. And Brandon, you and I haven't really had a chance to talk about it. And Ev, it should be a 2-on-1 now because it was the big bad SEC, Ev. It was the big bad SEC. Big bad Alabama. Oh, that Nick Saban. All those blue bloods in Alabama. You can't beat them. They just beat Georgia. Oh, you can't beat that SEC. Oh, Michigan's in a whole hoop of trouble in the Rose Bowl. I said, no, Ev. I said, no, I'm going to fight for the Big Ten. I'm going to fight for you. I see you with that helmet behind you. And I heard, Ev, I can't believe it. Ohio State hasn't won the national championship since you've even been enrolled in school there. To think, Big Ev, that when we were sitting in Ohio and you were beating Michigan 60-0, that we'd be sitting here a few years later and I'd have the ring, Ev, before you do. Who would have thought? But that's not about it. Point one, me and you, Ev, going against the big bad SEC and Brandon Walker. I said, give me a milli. Give me a milli on Michigan versus the big bad SEC. And what we do, Ev, we won. You and I, hand in hand, locked arms, Big Ten. Ohio State can't beat the SEC. We will. And we did. Brandon, your turn. What'd you think when we demolished the SEC?
You won in overtime. You got lucky as fuck. You had an
Lucky?
average quarterback. You got lucky as fuck. You
We
were
ran it down their throat.
You
You
were
don't know what the
freaking
line
out.
of scrimmage is.
You were freaking out. You were freaking out. You
I had $1
knew
million
that you were
bucks
going to
on
get beat. You were freaking out the whole time. And I got to ask, what happened between winning $1 million last week and then going into last night? You wouldn't
I
bet
thought
on that
Washington
game.
was very good. And they are great.
You were wrong.
But I
You were wrong.
underestimated
You're a
that
pussy.
this was the greatest college football team of all time. That I didn't underestimate Washington. I didn't realize how great we were. So thank you for bringing that up.
This
that
is the
brings me to
worst
number
national
2.
champion.
Let's bring this to number 2. Michigan winning the national championship last night. Ev, I saw you now. I think the Big Ten should root. I think I saw you say your life is over forever.
It's glim. Is that a word? It's grim.
That's
grim.
not a word.
Grim's the word. I'm just grim.
That's a fight amongst you two losers.
It's been a bad 2024. I'm ice cold gambling too, like disgustingly cold.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? And correct me here if I'm wrong. I don't know. Me and all my 60, 70,000 Michigan friends, as we were celebrating the national championship and just burning Houston to the ground, we were talking a little bit, you just reminisce and talk football. It's like, you know what? This national championship will last forever.
What the fuck were you reminiscing about?
Ohio State wins the title, because no matter what you do, I'm just going to be like, when's the last time you won a natty, fat boy? Until you guys do it. Because that's all you said to us. Oh, you were great in the 1800s. When's the last time you won a natty? Yesterday. Undefeated yesterday. Do you get it? Do you guys get it? Who has the most wins in the history of college football? Oh, we do. Who's the national champions? We are. That's it. We are college football.
Again, can you at least point out to him the circumstances under which they won the title? Please point that out. I'm asking him a question. I asked him a question.
Blood oath. That's on the list. That's my next one.
I asked him a question.
You went right into it. Blood oath.
Dave,
in 20 years of doing this company, I've never won a blood oath. And then I had this big, I'm from the SEC. I live in the woods. I make a blood oath, because I watched that video in the arrogance and the stupidity and the idiocy of you, Brandon Walker.
That's not a word.
To be like, of course I'll make a blood oath. You think Michigan is going to walk through Penn State, Ohio State, Alabama, and Washington? And we did, boy. We did it right in your face. You didn't think in your wildest dreams when I was sitting on that couch, be like, we're going to win the national championship. Be like, blood oath, blah, blah, blah. And there we go. The first loser in a blood oath. In the 2 decades, we've never had a blood oath. And this guy, this big blood oath, Ev. He lost a blood oath.
Dave, do you mind if me and Brandon just have a sec real quick?
Yeah, take your time. Yeah, 20 seconds. Go get it.
Brandon, I want to just they can just stop recording. Dave can just, Dave's doing something else, not listening. Has it ever come across your mind that since you came to Barstool, the first 2 years that you were here, Ohio State was still winning?
You think I did this?
Let me finish. Let me finish. Okay. That both those years you picked Michigan, and then, which for me, I was here a year before you, so it had been 3. So after that, you flip flopped.
You're turning on me.
I'm saying let me finish my. You flip flopped, and you started picking Michigan, and then like this year you did your cute Penn State thing. Had it occurred to you to maybe flip back and maybe turn, I don't know if they do this in pro wrestling. I wasn't as big a fan as you, obviously. Maybe you do like this flip thing where you just start like fellatioing Michigan. Go opposite.
That can't happen because everybody knows it's a fraud. I don't know where his hatred of Michigan.
If you go all in.
If I had to do like a little sliced pie, maybe I get 20% of credit. A lot of fans were coming up to me saying, we haven't had a voice. You have brought this voice and this pride back to Michigan that has been missing. And I don't know if it was this Mississippi guy who all of a sudden decided he was going to hate Michigan. And we made it our mission as Michigan men to make that guy eat as well. Like, I get you, Ev. You're stuck with Ohio. Poor you. The timing bad. But Walker, Buckeye Brandon, he lit a fire under my ass. He did, Ev. He lit a fire into my ass, and then I took it and I let it burn. And what I do is I grab titles like those infinity stones. That
You did
graphic.
nothing. You did
I
nothing.
start grabbing those stones. And what do you mean? So you think all the success that I've had across everything has nothing to do with me? Brady's putting my stories up. Is Brady, Belichick, Portnoy? I win. You're a loser. I'm a winner. You wouldn't know anything about it.
So go back to your original point, going back to Madison, Wisconsin that day, why I made the blood oath. You're right. I never considered a world where it was possible you pieces of shit would win the national championship. And that is coming back to haunt me for every day of my fucking life since.
Yeah.
I never considered that you pieces of shit who have lost for decades, who have been arrogant for decades, who have been lost in the wilderness would finally figure out a way. I don't know how you did it, but you figured out a way to win a national title. I didn't see that coming. I was stupid.
You're stupid. And here's what he forgot, Big Ev. He's so dumb and so blinded by hatred. He couldn't see the improvement. 3 straight Big Ten championships, getting better. You get killed by Georgia. You play a bad game versus TCU, but a great game. And I told him, I sat on that couch. I go, we're going to win the national title. Oh, you want to make a blood oath because the Connor Stallions? Fine, I'll do it. And we're going to shut your mouth up. We're going to take your biggest, baddest team, Alabama. We're going to beat them. We're going to take the Pac-12. We're going to beat them. We're going to beat Ohio State again. And God bless Ohio State fans. If I see them, and you're one of them, you're like, if it wasn't for Michigan, that could be us. That would have been 3 straight Big Tens. If just Michigan would play in a different conference, if we just didn't have to play Michigan, we may be the second best team. We just have the unfortunate luck of having the big bad bully in our conference.
Big F, Kyle McCord can go to hell. He can go to hell. If you have any other human being playing quarterback that day, we're not listening to this bullshit right now.
Who'd they have the 2 years before?
I'm not worried about 2 years before. I'm worried about this year. I'm worried about this year.
You could beat us with C.J. Stroud. You could beat us with C.J. Stroud. You gotta. Here's what you guys: the flash, the money, the change. No. The trenches, gentlemen. The trenches, and as two big out of shape men, you should get that. The trenches, my men. The trenches.
Name 2 offensive linemen at Michigan right now.
That guy Keegan, 77.
That's 1.
Yeah, and Zinter, 2. Thank you.
He's hurt. He didn't play.
Well, is he dead? He's their best lineman.
Practically.
He's their best lineman.
You can't name 2 guys that played
I just did. Hey,
you can't name 2 guys that played last time.
I know that in Ohio State, education isn't what a Michigan education is. But when somebody says name 2 linemen and someone names 2 linemen, is that 2 linemen?
Big Av, name 2 offensive linemen for Ohio State to play in the last game.
I mean, that's easy. You're
right.
Asking me that.
Yeah.
I can name all of them, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Nothing matters.
I like both.
Nothing matters. It's like I could sit here and say like the cheating. I could say this and that. It literally doesn't. It doesn't.
He's not allowed to say it.
I didn't say it.
I didn't say you did. This is the second this Connor Stallions thing happened. I went right here. You guys see this? I pulled this open. I grabbed my file and I said, all right, we're going to just run back what I did with the Patriots. And that's exactly what we did. The same exact results to the T. And just like with deflating footballs, the signals were pre-Penn State. The 4 toughest games on Michigan's schedule were post all this controversy.
The only tough games.
We won them all. So what, Ev, like, are you going to be that loser that's like, well, signal? It's like, what? Signals clearly had nothing to do with it. We're better than everybody else. We're the national champions of college football. The national champions of college football. And again, when we hearken back, sitting in the stands at Ohio, honestly, and when Wisconsin was running it down Michigan's throat and you sat and you said, my God, Michigan's going to win the national title before Ohio. And a lot of people are, oh, Dave, you said this. I spurred this team to a championship. I spurred them to a championship. I didn't accept almost beating Ohio State. I said, we don't almost beat Ohio State at Michigan. We're Michigan. That may fly for them, not us. So, I mean, they should have won by 10 touchdowns yesterday. But I don't care.
They should have. Washington was trash.
But the undefeated Washington Huskies are trash.
Washington was trash. Did you see that? That was pathetic.
So who is good?
Georgia.
You're one of those guys.
Somebody-
The Georgia crowd. You got beat. You got beat in the SEC championship by Alabama, who we beat the piss out of. That's how it goes. Win your games.
November
Win your
13th.
games.
November 13th, 2021. Fire Harbaugh. I'll fucking coach Michigan. I got to do everything myself anyway. Dave Portnoy. November 30th. Fire Harbaugh now. I'd rather be 0-10 than watch this garbage. Fire Harbaugh now. Fire Harbaugh. Fire Harbaugh. Did you look that man in the eyes last night and suck his dick like everybody else? Yes, you did.
Yes. No, everyone, listen, you have to call it as you see it. I don't play for second place. I distinctly remember Michigan being happy they almost beat Ohio State. I said, no, I won't even wear the color. I said, I will not wear Michigan football. I don't stand for it. At Michigan, we
You're not a fan because you're not a fan.
We win national championships. And if you don't stand for that, you're not. I watched them, but I said, you got to come to my level. I'm a champion. Look around. Patriots, Celtics, Red Sox. I win championships. Get on my level. And that's what we did. And that's what we did.
You're not a fan. You're an actor.
No, an actor.
You're an actor. You're acting.
Champion.
You're not a fan. You're an actor.
You know how many people in the crowd? I already said this.
You're a bullshit artist.
Thanked me. They thanked me.
Because Michigan people are stupid.
Thank you, David, for raising the level here, for not accepting mediocrity. And that's what I did. That's what I did. We're champions. Now,
what are the other topics?
We're not done with this one. Will you guys, pretend I'm not here?
Gladly.
Can you believe it?
No. I can't believe it. Big Ev, I can't fucking believe it. This was a team that wanted to fire their coach 3 years ago. This was a team who hadn't beat you guys in a decade. This was a team that was garbage, trash. They were losing to Wisconsin. They were getting their doors blown off. And then something happened. I don't know what it was. Something happened. And they started slowly winning, and now it led up to this. I guess it was a down year in college football. Georgia didn't have quarterback. Ohio State. I'm talking to Ev.
Okay, continue.
Why is it down year in college football? Because we have the worst national champion in 2 decades. That's why.
You weren't talking to me.
You're right. I'm not talking to you. Big Ev, we have the worst national champion in 2 decades. How the fuck did it happen?
Just a few years ago, life was simple.
I'd give anything to go back to 2018 right now. Anything.
When Harbaugh canceled that game during COVID, that was everything. That changed. Like if they play that game against Ohio State, they get butt raced. That was probably Michigan's worst team he's had. He gets fired.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's different. I had a moment last night. This is just talking to Brandon. I had a moment last night where
talk to me.
I'm sitting in bed. I'm wallowing in. I'm watching the confetti fall. They're lifting the trophy, and I'm sitting there. I'm thinking, even though I knew I bet Washington small. I knew they were going to lose. I knew it. I knew they'd lose probably handily. They should have lost by 100, even though they lost by 20. I had a moment where I thought back to that moment where this is pre you even at Barstool, where being in the stands with Dave in Ohio Stadium in the Horseshoe, as Paris Campbell was taking an end around for like 80 yards for a touchdown into the corner end zone that we were seated in, and to score, I believe, get over 60 for the game. I think maybe it was 50, 60, something like that. And I remember they left. I turned down a private jet. Me at that time, and I've flown in a few since then. That was first time doing all this kind of stuff. To stay and party and lavish in this moment of kicking the shit of Michigan and something that we had done over and over and over. And I thought back to that time, and then it was like everything. It was like nothing from then till last night. It was like it skipped everything. It's like it reverted from there. My brain went from there directly to sitting in my apartment alone in bed, and just thinking, what happened?
You looked awful when I called you. I felt terrible.
Just what happened? It was like it just went boom, and everything was like went from scoring our 60th point in a blowout to then I was like, what happened?
You know, it reminds me of like Jim Harbaugh when
I can't believe it.
Built those Stanford teams, and you have the flash and the pomp and USC, and then it's like, here comes the men. Here come the big boys. The only difference, Stanford isn't Michigan. Michigan is this national power. It resonates with everybody. I don't care what Walker says. People wake up, they're born in the SEC. They fear and think about Michigan. Like
No,
the
no,
SEC is
no,
fine,
no,
but it's
no.
like Michigan is that power. Michigan's the team that beat Alabama in the Rose Bowl. Michigan is that national icon brand that nobody else. So it engulfs everything. You put that with Harbaugh, and this is what you got. The most wins in the history of college football. Michigan, national champs. Michigan,
just
3 times Big Ten champ. Michigan.
You just won your first outright championship in 80 fucking years.
We're the defending champs, Brandon.
Well, you're not defending yet. That's not
Brandon. No, that's the problem.
It's been 80 years. I don't know how to act.
No. But that's the second part. Is the problem is that you
We're the
can't
champs.
you can't say any like what.
He's so dumb.
I could sit here and say
I don't.
like, oh,
I'm
they
not.
cheated.
I get it.
No, you don't get it.
I could sit here and say, oh, Ohio State won the other, like the only Big
We're
Ten.
the
It
champs.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're just they have the belt. Like
we're the
there's
champs.
nothing. There's nothing.
He's
I
so
can sit
dumb,
here and
he
say
doesn't
these
get
things
it.
in there.
He's
I
so
can
dumb.
say
He's like,
these
well,
things
when's
and
the
they're
last
cute.
time you won a champ? That's what the guy says. When's the
Like, I
last
can
time?
sit here and
Yeah, you did. When's
No,
the last? When's the last
you
time
were saying-
you haven't won a championship for 80 years, except the one last night.
You were saying
Except
Michigan
for the
has
one
been
last
the gold.
night, Ev.
You were saying Michigan has been the gold standard. They haven't.
Except the one last night,
They
right?
haven't
Brandon,
been the
watched
gold
game.
standard.
Like, we're the national champs, right?
Big F,
like,
can I talk to you real quick?
Who's the national champs right
Can
now?
I, Dave,
Yeah,
give me-
all right.
give
Yeah,
me-
yeah.
Big F, on this run, this entire Michigan run, I got 0 of their games right. I thought Penn State would out tough them at home. I thought Ohio State would beat them. I thought Alabama would beat them. The one time I was dead right was last night when I was staring out of these soulless dead eyes, and I just realized the moment is happening. I picked Washington to lose by 3 touchdowns, 31-10. It was 34-13. I've never hit a game as directly as I hit last night, and it was all Michigan winning the fucking national championship. That's how sick my life has become.
It was written in stone.
It was
I knew
over
it
last
too.
week.
I knew it
Alabama
too.
was our
No,
only
no.
chance.
It
Alabama was
was,
our
written-
only
it-
chance.
it was over. It was written in stone on the RV. The second you took that blood oath and shook my hand, that you thought a loser like you would beat a winner like me. It was over. It was over. That you may sit here, Walker, and say that had nothing to do with nothing.
I will beat you. I don't know how I'm going to beat you.
But
if
that
I have
was
to
it.
live to 1,000, I'm
That
going
was
to
it.
beat you.
The loser loses in the this
And
is
if I die, my
this
kids
isn't
will beat
a
you.
Disney movie. This is how it goes. Winners win, losers lose. You're a loser.
My-
I'm a winner. You're the
My
Washington
grandkids will
Generals.
grit.
I'm the Harlem Globetrotters. Your grandkids will what? They don't even like Mississippi
My grandkids
State.
will gritty on your grave. That's
Yeah,
what will happen.
yeah.
I will. This will last forever. I will beat you.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see. Keep making those blood oaths.